The next topic is the stack allocation of spaces. So last class we discussed about the topic of the runtime environment, what is runtime environment, and the introduction about the runtime environment. After that we discussed about the storage allocation. In the storage allocation we have two types, one is static and another one is dynamic. We discussed almost 2 to 3 differences between the static and the dynamic allocation. The next topic is the stack allocation of spaces. If people already know what is the use of stack allocation spaces, in the runtime environment we have 5 different blocks. The first one is the code block, the second one is the static block, the other one is the heap management, the fourth one is the stack block. So whenever any procedure or functions calls, the activation record will be get activated. Say for example, if you have 5 functions in a given program, 5 activations record will be called. Say for example, in the program I have a p function. Inside the p function I have p1 function, and after that in the p1 function I have the p2 function. In the p3 function I have the p4 function. So if I want to call the p function, inside I have p1 function. So initially what happens in the stack, p will be the top of the stack, then p1 will be the top of the stack, then p2 will be the top of the stack, then p3 will be the top of the stack, and then p4 will be the top of the stack. So 5 activation record will be get activated for this particular concept. Clear? So initially p will be activated, then p1, p2, p3, p4. If you want to reach p, first initially p4 get terminated, then p3 get terminated, then p2 get terminated, then p1 get terminated, finally p will be ended. So this is what the concept of activation record. When come to the stack allocation, we have 2 different concepts. The first one is the activation tree and the second one is the activation record. This concept is particularly telling about how activation record will be get activated throughout the program execution. When come to the definition of this one, the compiler for languages uses procedure, functions or the methods as a unit of user-defined action managed at least a part of their runtime memory as a stack. You know, when you want to execute any of the program basically calling from the main function. So initially main function will be get activated in the stack. After that, inside the main function, if you have any function related to the particular program, that function will be get activated. Each time procedure is called, a space for its local variable is pushed onto the stack, and when the procedure terminates, that space is popped off the stack. Say for example, inside the p1 function I have a variable int a comma b. This ab is a local variable for this particular p1 function, right? So this local variable will be get activated in this particular block. So basically this whole function will be terminated, then only the p will be terminated. So this is what the concept of this particular definition. So when come to the activation tree, the stack allocation would not be feasible if procedure calls or activations of the procedure did not nest in a time. Say for example, in p function I have some local variable, p1 function I have some local variable, p3 functions I have some local variable. So when you want to execute any of the function related to the local variable, this variable get activated particularly when the p3 function is executed. This variable get activated particularly when the p1 function is get activated. This variable get activated only when the particularly p function is get activated. So this is local variable for the p function, this is local variable for the p1 function, this is local variable for the p3 function. So you cannot consider which variable is going to activated basically. So for that reason we are going to take the concept of activation tree. This activation tree basically is going to tell about how exactly the procedure is calling. After calling that procedure, how exactly inside the procedure function is going to execute it. So when come to the definition of activation tree, the stack allocation would not be feasible if procedure calls or activations of the procedure did not nest in time. Here I am considering the example called quicksort. you already know the concept of quicksort, how exactly the quicksort is working. So quicksort is basically the concept of dynamic programming. In dynamic program, we discussed the two major part. One is the merge sort and the another one is the quicksort. So quicksort, here we are going to dividing basically using the pivot element. So I am taking the piece of code from the quicksort program, int a of 11. So initialization of the array. So read array, I will be indicating for the index. Say for example a of 0, 1, 2, 3. I will be indicating each time for 0, 1, 2. And I have taken the function called partition function. So partition, you already know, m and n we are using for the partition. So this function, after this function, I have taken some piece of code for the function of quicksort. You know the quicksort, how exactly is working. So n greater than m, I equal to partition of m comma n, quicksort of m comma I minus 1, quicksort of I plus 1 n. Even you can do it for the low by mid equal to low plus high by 2. This is what the concept we discussed in the fourth semester. You know very well about the quicksort. I am not going to explain in detail about the quicksort. Just I am going to take the example how exactly the activation tree is working. So here in the main function I am calling read array. When the cursor will come, automatically the cursor will go to where? Here, initializing the array and come back here. So here in the position of, say for example, a of 0, 1, 2, 3, like that, so on, 11. Here we initialize the array is what? A of 11. Means what? 0 to 11. So basically what I did, a of 0 I am initializing some value, a of 10 I am initializing 999. Means 0 to 10 value will be indicated, totally 11 spaces. In that 11 spaces I am initializing starting element 999 and the ending element 99. So I can divide only the element in between 1 to 9. That is what I did here, quick of 1 comma 9. When come to the function of quick of 1 comma 9, automatically goes to the here. So this is what the concept. The above example as a tree in general procedure activations are nested in time. If an activation of procedure P calls procedure Q, then that activation of Q must end before the activation of P can end. There are three common cases. So for example, P is calling P1. P1 is calling P2. If you want to terminate P1, P2 gets terminated initially. Then P1. Then P. So this is what I am telling here. If the procedure P calls procedure Q, then that activation of Q must end. Basically Q should be end, then only the P will be ended. So for this we have three basic cases in that activation tree. The first basic case is what? The activation of Q terminates normally, then in essentially any languages, control assumes just after the point of P at which the call of Q was made. So inside the P function, inside the P1 function, what all the activities is going to do it in the P1 function is going to tell. Okay, after that P will be terminated. The activation of Q or some procedure, activation Q or some proceed Q called either directly or indirectly aborts, that it becomes impossible for execution to continue. In that case, P ends simultaneously with Q also. The third case, the activation of Q terminates because of an execution that Q can't handle. So we can represent this activation of procedures during the running of an entire program by a tree called an activation tree. An activation tree. See, we can represent the activation of procedures during the running of an entire program by a tree called an activation tree. Each node corresponds to one activation and root is the activation of the main procedures that initiate the execution of the program. Means what? The main program will be, the main function will be the root of that particular tree. Here I am taking the example, the quicksort only. Initially it is going to call main function, then read array, leave read array, go to quicksort, partition of the 1 comma 9, and in the 1 comma 9 partition, so I am considering 4 as a pivot element, so it will be divided for 1 comma 3 and the 5 comma 9. So that is what I explained here. Enter quicksort of 1 comma 3, leave quicksort of 1 comma 3, You have to do all the functions inside the 1 comma 3, then only you can come for the 5 comma 9. Then do all the functions of 5 comma 9, then terminate, leave of 1 comma 9. So this function I am representing in the tree. See, this is the main function. This is I am taking some function name called R. Come over here, q of 1 comma 9, partition 1 comma 9, q of 1 comma 3, 5 comma 9. Why? Because 4 is the pivot element. After that, complete this execution 1 comma 3, partition of 1 comma 3, go to the quicksort function 1 comma 0, go to the function of 2 comma 3. Then for this 2 comma 3, again do the partition for the 2 comma 3, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 3. Do all this execution, come back here, come back here, come back here, go to here, q of 5 comma 9, partition of 5 comma 9, quicksort of 5 comma 5, quicksort of 7 comma 9, come back here 7 comma 9, 7 comma 7 and 9 comma 9. So when you consider for the sequence of execution of particular activation tree, q of 1 comma 9, p of 1 comma 9, q of 1 comma 3, p of 1 comma 3, 1 comma 0, 2 comma 3, 2 comma 3, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 3, then 5 comma 9, 5 comma 9, 5 comma 5, 7 comma 9, 7 comma 9, 7 comma 7, 9 comma 9. So this is the sequence of the execution of this activation tree. When you want to see the returning address of this particular tree, I have given in the notes, just refer the notes for that.